So today is
Good morning, sir.
good morning, ma. Today is
You're
Friday.
welcome, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you, ma. Today is Friday, the 9th of May 2025. Good morning, Kristen. Now we don't have a tradable fundamental event this morning because 9:40 a.m. we have the Bank of England Governor Bailey speech. That may not really be tradable, so we have to just ignore it. So the first tradable event today will come up by 1:30 p.m. and that will be covered by the uh, afternoon pre-New York, pre-New York session analysis. So I wouldn't want to go into that. So let me flip straight to the charts and see what we have for today technically. And I'm going to start with the USDCHF. Now, there's a long-term bullish outlook on the dollar, but then currently, what I'm seeing on the charts this morning, as a technical analyst, we trade what we see. This is what I'm seeing on the charts. Price is at a resistance level on the daily time frame. Now, if there is no sufficient volatility to push price to break out above this level, then technically what will happen is that we will see a reversal in price. And I want to go with that at the moment because that's what I'm seeing. And you can see the daily time frame, there was a resistance. If you come down to 4 hour, you can see there is a rejection candle. In fact, two rejection candles, at that confirmed resistance level. Even the current 4 hour candle is looking bearish. So the market seems to have more of a bearish sentiment at the moment. And this is 1 hour. So all things being equal, this could happen two ways. This might eventually give us a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, and that could lead to a drop, or we may see a trend line formation, though that's not too clear at the moment, but it can still happen, but that will take even more time for price to break. I think I want to go more with that head and shoulder, possibly if it forms, that might lead to the breakout we anticipate on the USD But generally, I'm bearish on the USD this morning. Now, in the course of the day, if other patterns or any other thing evolve, which may see price break out faster, well, definitely that can also be looked into. But I'm bearish on the USD CHF. Now, if we're bearish on the USD CHF, that's the dollar, we might be looking for a bullish outlook on gold. Now, this is gold on the 4 hour time frame. Gold, has been trending higher, making a series of higher low, and this is a current candle for gold. As at this current 4 hour candle, this is where we are on gold. So technically, we should see a bounce in the bullish direction. And that is just in line with what we saw on the USD CHF. If the dollar is bearish, gold will likely be bullish. And that's on the 4 hour. On the 1 hour, you can see gold is also forming what looks like what we are seeing on USD CHF. Gold is trying to form an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which likely will push it also into the bullish direction. So we just need to exercise some patience in the course of the day to see these patterns fully form, and that can trigger us into the expected direction on both the USD and gold. And further on gold, you can still draw a trend line. We can draw a trend line on this one, so this makes it a little different from that USDCHF. We may not need to get hung up completely on the pattern. If the pattern forms, all well and good. If not, if price retraces downwards and breaks out above the trend line and the RSI is above 50, we may still be good to go on gold. But either way it happens, I still hold a bullish outlook on gold today. Okay, so we have the other trend line there to complete the falling wedge. So we're good to go on a bullish trade when the coast clears eventually, because it's not yet clear now. It's not yet time to take a trade. Let me see further. We also have a support on resistance. So price needs to retrace downwards and break out above that support on resistance for us to take a bullish trade on gold. So we're bullish on gold. Please, I'd like to encourage us to watch these videos over and over again. Don't just make it a one-time thing. Watch it again to get an understanding of how this setup works. That's why these days, if you observe, we don't make the session too long so that it can be easier for us to watch again. So the essence, we're giving you insights, we're giving you education, and you can apply it, to trading. It's the goal is to improve your trading style and make you a more efficient trader. All right, so we're bearish on USDCHF, we're bullish on gold, and now BTC has been just trending higher. I want to think that the major fundamental activity globally at the moment is the election of the Pope of the Roman Catholic Church. I think that could be one of the things pushing BTC. BTC hit $103,000 but BTC yesterday. Please let's mute our devices as we join this class. So there's tendency for BTC to still go higher, but if you have missed an earlier entry, because as at our last outlook, I remember telling us a couple of days back that we have a resistance level here. That two things will happen at that point. It's either price uh, reverses downwards or breaks out above that resistance and goes higher. Let me just go down a little to like 1 hour to see something. Okay, so price is, it has broken a previous resistance. Let's leave that. Okay, let's still leave it anyway. We might still make reference to it later. So currently, price is trying to approach the next resistance level. So if it gets to this resistance level, well, we may have a reversal, maybe back to the previous resistance ton support at that point in time. So for now, we just have to keep our fingers crossed. Except you have a style that can help you. You don't want to just enter blindly, say, oh, it's buying, so buy. Anything can happen. We'll follow the technical rules, let it hit this place, then we can ride the trend, downwards. So for now, we're just observing BTC, and anytime it hits that resistance, we'll look at an opportunity to trade it to the previous resistance tons support. And a key instrument I'm looking at this morning is the GBP New Zealand. On the 4 hour time frame, this instrument, it's on the previous, it's hitting the previous resistance with a last 4 hour candle being a rejection candle. I'm anticipating some reversal on this instrument today. This one is purely a 1 hour setup, so this is completely an intraday setup. We have a trend line right here. And we have a second one here to give us a perfect looking rising wedge pattern. There's a support zone there. So we're going to be waiting for price to break out below this to take a sell on the GBP New Zealand. Don't forget, confirmation will be that RSI crosses below 50. So we're bearish on the GBP New Zealand. Please watch this one closely. There is a high chance it will trigger in the course of today. And finally, I'll be looking also at the DJ30. On some other platforms, that's listed as US30. On our platform is DJ30. DJ30 is Dow Jones Industrial Index in the United States. Now, this instrument is trading at a previous support turned resistance, with the candle that closed yesterday being a rejection candle. So we'll flip down to 1 hour. And we have a rising wedge there also. All right. This is equally forming a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, and we might be anticipating a final move downward. Confirmation will be RSI below 50. So we're bearish on the GBP AUD today on 1 hour. So I've given us more of, I think we've had more of an intraday setup for today. As a recap, we're bearish on the USD CHF, but bullish on gold. For now, we are watching BTC USD to hit a key resistance level before we look for an opportunity to sell. We're selling GBP New Zealand on 1 hour, and we're selling DJ30 also on 1 hour. So that's my analysis of the market this morning. I have a few requests here, which I will look into. GBP, JPY, and GBP AUD. Now, I said it at the beginning of the week that it looks like the GBP pairs are going bearish, and that's just the fact. So I'll look at GBP, JPY. GBP, JPY will still sell massively, but on the swing, I'll be on a swing trade. My outlook for this instrument from the beginning of the week has been bearish, and I still maintain that outlook, even though it has not, sold as expected. That's one thing with swing setup. Sometimes it may not even trigger the initial week you see it. Maybe probably the next week. Swing trading is for the patient uh, guys. So you can see a descending trend line on the weekly time frame, and price has gone to hit that same. Let's fit it properly. You can see it. Price has gone back to hit that weekly trend line, and I still maintain that my earlier outlook of a head and shoulder pattern, that's what it still is. So this is going to drive price downward. It's a swing setup. It's not yet time to trigger. Just be calm. We still have our neckline here. Now, is it possible to take a sell? I would not advise you do that now, except for one condition. If price goes back up to retest this trend line and then forms a double top, yes, you can take an early entry, but don't just jump into a sell and say, but oh, I believe it will eventually sell. Let me enter now. You don't trade that way. No, you wait for the right setup before you trade. So if it retraces back to retest this trend line, like I said, that will form a double top. Then you can ride it downwards and further break out. But for now, just let's watch. It's a swing setup in the first place, so there's no point being in a hurry about it, except if it does what I'm saying. That can be an insight for an early entry. Otherwise, just keep your fingers crossed and watch till we find the right setup for entry. So we still maintain a bearish outlook on the GBP I'm trying to search for GBP AUD. Okay, it's not here, so I'll open a fresh one. All right, this is my view here. Price eats but there's a support zone right here. All right, so we have a support zone. Price broke the support to retest it as a resistance and closed as a rejection candle yesterday. So technically, we're looking for a downward movement today on the GBP AUD. So we go down to 1 hour time frame. Well, there's no trend line here to draw, so you don't need to force anything. Now, this old area is not too clear, it's not too sharp, but this is actually forming a head and shoulder and we'll be anticipating a breakout. So anytime price breaks out below that support zone, which is the neckline, you can trigger a sell safely on the GBP AUD. RSI is even already below 50 up. That's a good one. And MACD is below zero. So it's really getting set for a sell. Just wait for a new candle to open below the support zone, which is the neckline. And you can trigger a sell on GBP AUD. So that's for Oyelowo. All right, so I'll take the last set of requests here. I'll be done. GBP USD, Euro USD, Euro AUD. Now, my outlook for GBP USD has been bearish right from the beginning of the week. But at the moment, I want to pause because the dollar, is bearish. If the dollar is bearish, then those instruments might go back into the bullish direction. And don't also forget today is Friday. Many times, Friday movement, you're welcome, Oyilo. Friday movement is usually against the overall trend. In market often enters a form of retracement on Fridays. It's the norm in the market. So I want to be very cautious at the moment. It may change in the course of the day, but I want to be very cautious at the moment with my GBP USD outlook. If you've been part of my analysis from the beginning of the week, I maintain that GBP USD was forming a head and shoulder on the daily time frame, and that has been confirmed. It's a confirmed head and shoulder now. I remember saying a couple of days back, that this is the final confirmation. It chooses that top on the daily time frame. So we are expecting a free fall. However, if you zoom down to the 4 hour time frame, uh okay, let's start from the daily. We're supposed to have a new candle below this neckline for us to have that free fall. But that new candle has not formed. The one that is forming currently is not directly below the support zone. The neckline is not directly below it, it's still within it. So we don't have the breakout yet on the GBP USD. Now, if you zoom down to 4 hour time frame, you can see it's still trying to retest that like a kind of a range. So I will advise to be very cautious with GBP USD. I'm not saying it's a buy and I'm not saying it's a sell. Just hold on and let's wait for clarity. You know, that's the best advice I can give for GBP USD at the moment. Except if we can have a new candle break out below this level, fine. I'll be fine to say, okay, we can look at taking a sell on GPUs. But for now, I want to be very cautious because it's going to be more of a long-term trade. From my analysis earlier on, this will generate between 200 to 400 pips. It's a pure swing setup. So trade it with caution. And on a day like today, Friday, I want to be very, very careful because end of the week movement may still eventually drive price back into the bullish direction. So let's just wait and get enough clarity on this before we enter into it. And that's for GBP USD. Same thing is happening for Euro USD. Euro USD is actually at a critical level. Is at a critical level. Is at a previous resistance turn support with a trend line. I want to be careful with Euro USD likewise. USD CHF is clear. We are more bearish, but Euro USD GBP USD, please just take a hold for now until a lot of clarity is restored into the market. Euro AUD. Okay, so let's look at Euro AUD. All right, this is Euro AUD. I gave my analysis on this at the beginning of the week, and I said I was bullish, and I still maintain that bullish outlook. And why did I say I was bullish? I saw a candle here that gave us a support, sorry, a resistance turn support. So we had a resistance, price broke out above, became support. So technically, we're looking for a bullish movement. So that's my first reason for being bullish. Second reason for being bullish was the formation of an inverse head and shoulder pattern. Shoulder, head. Now, this didn't form directly as it should, but well, we don't own the market. Sometimes fundamental factors may shift some technical setup, but eventually it may still go as expected. So it's still doing its own thing. It might still come and still find its way up. And we have our trend line there and the second one here to form a falling wedge. So I'm still hopeful that price will break out above the neckline of the inverse head and shoulder pattern, and we'll still see a trigger in the bullish direction. So let's see, keep our fingers crossed on this. Still a bullish setup, though it has not moved as fast as expected. Sometimes those kind of things happen, but let's still watch it closely. All right, so Gio Bilano, RSI is more reliable with what time frame? RSI is reliable on any time frame you're using. The question is, what time frame do you use to trade? What time frame is suitable for your personality? Are you a day trader or a swing trader or a scalper? That is what will determine the time frame you trade on. And so whatever time frame you are trading on, the RSI is reliable on that time frame. Okay, Mr. Gabriel has responded, depending on your trading time frame. Okay, if your entry is 15 minutes, then 15 minutes. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Gabriel. That's a perfect response. Gabriel, how do I set up the RSI and MACD so I delete my Bollinger? Can you give us the setting? No special setting on MACD and RSI. Just use the default setting. What do I mean by default setting? The setting that came with the indicators. I'll just oblige you and do that straight away, and we will be done with the analysis. So let me delete the ones I have on my screen. So to install these two indicators, you come to the indicator menu. That's the area which I circled up there. You click on it. You see a drop down menu. Go to oscillators. Now both RSI and MACD, they are called oscillators. What oscillators do is that they help us to confirm a trend. So you come over here and click on, let's start with the RSI, relative strength index. This is it right here. Click on it here. And now by default, you're going to see under levels, you're going to see just 70 and 30, but I like to add 50 because it helps me to gauge the range better. So click on add and type 50. And that's all. It's very flexible. Under parameters, leave everything the way it is. That's why I said just leave it on default setting. Don't change anything. Click OK. And that's it. You have it on your system or your device. And the MACD, same setup. Come here, click on the indicator menu, come to oscillators, click on MACD, and levels. Actually, for level, this one default is nothing, but I also like to add 0 so that I can gauge when it crosses above and below that level. Under parameters, you can leave everything the way it is. Colors. Yeah, for me, the color, I like to make it a big bit bigger so that it's clearer to see. So I make it with the third line, you know, and that's it. So it's not something complicated. So that's just how to add both the MACD and the RSI. You may watch this video over again, to get clarity on that. Mr. Adeko Ishegun, I believe you came late, but I'll just oblige you the recap of the analysis. We're bearish on USD CHF on 1 hour. We're bullish on gold on 1 hour. We're neutral on BTC for now until it hits the next resistance level from where we'll look for an opportunity to sell. We're bearish on GBP New Zealand on 1 hour, and we're bearish on DJ30 on 1 hour. That's the recap. And you may also watch the video to get the proper analysis on each of these instruments. All right, so that's going to be all this morning. Don't forget to join us by
All
12:30
right. Thank you.
p.m. You're welcome, sir. Join us at 12:30 p.m. for the afternoon session, where we'll,
Thank you, sir.
you're welcome. Do have a great day.
Have a